Good morning, everybody. I'm glad all of us made it here today. A little bit about the itinerary. We're typically going to start around 2:50. I want to get in early so that we all can start praying, and we can by 3 o'clock we already have attendance and all of these different things done. So by 2:50 all the way up to 3:20, that will be 30 minutes of us ungroggy, different things like that, before we actually start the prayer thing. Okay, so now we're about to start, but I just want to give a little bit of insight. I want us to really push hard to make all 31 days. Okay, after these 31 days, you're not gonna believe the different things.
Dad, I hear you because you're breaking up.
Breaking up. Okay, let me try to move to.
Yes.
Let me try to move to a better location. I'll start driving around. Okay. If you guys can, I'm also going live on the band app, because I want to have this documented so that the teachings on here can be used for future references. Is this better, guys? Can you guys hear me now? Is this better?
Yeah, it's better for me.
Okay, so I just had to drive away from my house. Okay. Yeah, so the itinerary is 2:50. We already in. We're already praying. I suggest that you guys get in groups, so that we can make sure that everybody is getting in every single day. Like I said, accountability was always meant for progression, okay, not to avoid regression. Okay, so get into your accountability groups, and it's not to say that we're not gonna but we're not going to avoid progression as we're starting to tackle into demonstration and different things like that. We're going to need a lot of people keeping us focused as to how we're doing things, making sure the things that we are doing is done with the fruit of the Spirit, different things like that. Yeah, I want to make sure that these things are documented so that we can do it. So from 3 to 3:20. We're going to be praying in tongues. We're going to be interceding for whatever we're going to intercede for. We're going to be focusing on, like I said, there. You don't, and so that, but the presence of God is not something that we have to. The presence of God is everywhere. The presence of God, it's something that we have to become aware of. So as we're praying from 2:50 to 3:20, it's removing the distractions that's taking us away from focusing on the presence of God. That's what 2:50 all the way to 3:20 is about. And I know some of you guys, you think you're great at doing it, but it holds a lot of us back. Thank you, Marge. Let me take a look at this really quickly. It holds a lot of us back when we waste time not bringing in the presence of God, or in the sense where when I say bringing the presence of God, I'm not talking about conjuring him. I'm talking about us being aware of him. So it's more so something that we have to do, not something that he has to do. And then of course there is Jesus himself tangibly walking into a room, okay? So those are two different things, okay? So we want us to become so attractive to God that he himself comes into the room, okay? Not just us being aware of the amount of radiating presence that's around. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope I'm explaining. I'm trying to do like a rough explanation without really getting into it. But yeah, so that's what we do from 2:50 to 3:20. From 3:20 to about 4 o'clock, I'm going to be kind of like speaking on these two different things. Okay, I kind of broke down the words that start with COM and CON. Now I want you to know, just to start, that there is no significant difference between, I don't want to make it seem like everything that starts with CON is a negative and everything that starts with COM is a positive, but I kind of want to use this creative element to create the culture that I'm trying to create in 18, okay? So I've written down maybe about 20 or like 22 com versus cons. That's why I call it com, COM versus cons, CON. I've written about 22 different teachings that would help us understand agreement more.
You're going out again. Right after you said CON, it was a long pause.
Okay, I gotta move again. You said I had 3 bars and then I don't know what happened. Okay, so so it's comms, COM versus cons. Okay, so we want, like I said, it's not to kind of like bring in this new philosophy that everything that starts with CON is bad or whatever, and different things like that. But it's just a creative way for us to remember the difference in the teachings that I'm teaching, so that we can all understand it better. Okay, so that's what I want to do this for. I don't want to do it to kind of recreate definitions like I normally do. This is not about definitions. This is just about more so don't get caught up in the word. get more caught up in the teaching of what I'm explaining. Okay. Is that clear for everybody? You guys can unmute and just say something cool or exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys can hear me. And you guys can hear me good, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick,
Yes.
you said from 3:50 to 4 o'clock. What are we doing?
From 3:20 to 4 o'clock is I'm going to be giving kind of like some like a teaching basically on A-Team culture, but it's going to be more so geared towards what we talked about in A-Team. Okay. So it's gonna. So this month we're gonna really be focusing on that, and it's only 31 days. So we're gonna gear in towards that, so that we can knock this out the park, and then kind of move on with other things. Okay. I have 3 bars right here, but I'm like in the middle of the street. I can't stay here though. Okay. Yeah. So then after that, I'm really pushing. Thank you for saying that, because now I remember that I have to keep on going with the itinerary. So after the 4 o'clock, after 4 o'clock, I want us to use that 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock time to really try to get through the New Testament. Okay. And I'm not talking chapters, we're talking books. So I want you guys to sit down. It takes about an hour to read each book. And the more further towards the end we go, the easier it's going to be. So matter of fact, there's 27 books. There's 31 days that we're doing. So that's about an extra 4 days. It's about an extra 4 days. So we might just do half for the long books. For example, I know Matthew is pretty long. Mark is pretty long. Don't get tricked by the chapters. It's a very extremely hard read. So we're gonna kind of be breaking down the books, and we're gonna read them together. Then we're gonna read them. So we're gonna separate at 5. Then we're gonna come back at 6, and we're going to do kind of like a little questionnaire type of thing or whatever. But once again, from 5, that just to about 5:20, we're going to be praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. Now, throughout this whole entire thing, guys, I want you guys constantly in the spirit. Okay, don't get. As soon as I start teaching, I'm gonna have the mics open. I want you guys praying. I want you guys coming into agreement. I want you guys like, it's not a time for us. Well, no, I want us up. We're still praying. Don't let my from what we're trying to accomplish here as far as that. Okay, so from 4:50, and I hope, can somebody write this down and we can post it on the band app so we can keep the itinerary proper. Okay, so from 4:50 to about 5:20, we're gonna just be doing open prayer again, just like how it is, just to bring everybody back in. Because like I said, at 4 o'clock we're gonna separate to go read. 4:50 we're gonna come back together praying until about 5:20, and then at 5:20 we're gonna kind of open up the room for different things like prophecy, different things like questionnaires, different things like whatever. And then at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 7, from 6 to 6:30, we're going to go back into prayer, heavy prayer. That's going to be our loudest prayer for 30 minutes straight. We're going to be at 50% praying at 6:30, and then at 6 o'clock, and at 6:30, we're going to be journaling. So for 30 minutes or however long God takes you from there, we're going to be journaling. Okay, the hardest hour is going to be the 4 o'clock to 4:50 because you guys are on your own and you are responsible for either for reading the word. I want to challenge you guys to read, not to listen. Okay, remember we're following. Okay, follow what I'm saying, and with you guys, I gotta be specific because some of y'all are gonna be like, I read this, I read it. No, you listen to that. I want people to read. Okay, I want you reading. I want you reading. I want you taking notes on what you're reading, and different things. Okay, boot camp style. So from 6:30, we're gonna be journaling. Now, what we're gonna be journaling is just different things that God is telling us, different ideas that God is putting in our hearts, songs. If you gotta write songs in that moment, whatever. But it's just really a moment to dwell. Throughout the weeks, it's going to get a little bit more intense. I might call for 3 days out of the week, next week or the week after that, to meet up somewhere at 3 a.m. Okay, I'm trying to find a nice location where we can meet up at 3 a.m. that we don't look like a bunch of witches circling something. Okay, but around next week, maybe the week after that, we're gonna be meeting up somewhere. The purpose of everything that I'm doing is not only to do it. Yeah, you're gonna learn. Yeah, you're gonna grow, but there's a stamp or there's a badge of approval that you get for your ability to follow. Okay, there was something that came into my heart earlier today, and I don't remember it, but it was extremely powerful. So I know that these prayer sessions is going to be extremely powerful. I'm already seeing a lot of my gifts that were becoming dormant because I was in the season of kind of like rest and stuff like that. A lot of my gifts that was becoming dormant are activating again, which is strange. So, well, it's not strange. I'm happy about it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, gifts come with different stuff. So I'm gonna have to be a lot more disciplined. So y'all keep me accountable as well. Okay? So now that I got through my introduction, hang on.
Hey, Pat.
They're trying to kick me out. What's up?
I was writing everything down, and I'm just going to read what I have down so you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock,
Wait.
it says get through the New Testament. And then from 4:50 to 5:20, it says open prayer. Then from 5:20, it says open up the room for questions. Then from 6 to 6:30, go back into heavy prayer, 50%. And 6:30, it says journaling, what God is saying to you. This is a moment to dwell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we also gonna kind of just put like recreation time or whatever because we don't know what God's gonna do in that moment. So from 6 to 6:30, we're gonna be doing heavy prayer. So if God decides that we're going all the way through to 7 o'clock or even past 7 o'clock, for some of us, then yeah, we have to keep those slots open and ready for that stuff. It's the same thing with everything. Everything is kind of like open to kind of shift according to time. But I really want everybody to stay as enthusiastic at doing this as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm gonna start a new live because they're telling me that they're about to kick me out. So hang on. I'm gonna have to start a new live. I'll probably upgrade to pro. Okay, hang on, guys. Why don't you just send me to upgrade to pro right there? Yeah, big deal, so difficult. Come on, come on. Meetings. Okay, looks like I cannot upgrade to pro. Schedule. Okay, I can't record. You guys joined on the band app instead. You guys are funny. Okay, so we're not doing the Google Me. Like I just started a Google Me. Issues. Can you guys hear me? I'm on Google Me. I sent a link out. I'm just waiting on. The link should be on CCW. Thank you. Yeah, you guys can stay here if you want to stay here. I'm just gonna do both. I'm only doing it on Band app so I can have the recording. But if you guys want to stay on here, then we can do it on here as well. I see there's 9 people on here. Where's my team? Where's my team? Where is my team? Looking at me. Kiara, post it on CCW. Alright, I'll send it to Gene as well. Okay, thank you, Kiara. Yeah, come back. Six. Okay. Let's just go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. That is perfect. And I could charge my phone, so it's double plus. Okay. So let's jump right into this because I don't have much time and I know I can talk. So I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to get through everything that I have to say. But every odd day, I'm gonna be talking about comms, COM, and every even day I'm gonna be talking about cons, COM. Okay.
Can you say that again?
Huh?
Can you say that again, please?
Every even day, I'm going to be talking about comms, COM, and every even day, I'm going to be talking about comms. Okay. So, is Anthony here? Can I see? Oh, okay. Yes, he's here because he's saying the things that I'm saying. Even days, cons. Odd days, comms. Yes. That is correct. Okay. So, today, that is going to be annoying. Kiara, can I make you the host? Kiara? Because I can't keep stopping to let people in. Can I make you the host, Kiara? No? I'll just keep going. I'll just have to keep getting stopped. Okay. Is everybody in? You good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about, remember, everything is geared towards us really cracking down on being on one accord and what that means. I feel like yesterday's message or Saturday's message on one accord was so profound. It was very detailed. We understand the importance of it. We understand the physical manifestation of all of those different things. And we are all in agreement that we want to reach a new level of agreement in 18 and agreement with God. Okay, so we don't want to just be in agreement with anything. We want to be in agreement with God first. Okay, God as well. I say all of that to understand our first calm for the day. And our first calm, drum roll please. I'm assuming that somebody's doing a drum roll. Today, I guess I'm gonna give y'all the 2 days so that you guys can understand. Today we're gonna be talking about comfort. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about content. Okay, comfort versus content. I was looking up some cool definitions so that we can kind of create this culture. And one of the culture's understanding that I want to create is this ideal of being comfortable. Okay, everybody here, I want you to be comfortable. And I know this ideal of being comfortable has such a negative connotation behind it because the world tells you, oh, you don't want to be comfortable, different things like that. But for the sake of, like I said, what we're talking about, don't focus too much on the word as much as what I'm teaching about the word or what I'm teaching about the definitions and basically the heart of the concept behind what I'm teaching. And I'm only using the word as a doorway to make our minds understand that there's a difference between the two. Okay, so this idea of being comfort, I looked up the definition, and the definition of comfort, it means to give strength or hope to. That's already good. I can probably preach a whole entire sermon on that, but I don't want to use that as my premise behind what we're talking about right now. Another definition that I found was feeling of relief or encouragement. That's also something we can go preach on. Why? Because whenever I'm listening to these definitions, I'm always tagging it down to its most simplest form. The most simplest form of anything is going to be faith, hope, and love. So we have faith, hope, and love. And faith, we understand that there's an element of faith called feelings. Okay? Faith is the activation of your spiritual senses. Feeling is the most basic form of faith. Okay, so when people are saying faith over feeling, that's kind of just a play on words or whatever, because faith is actually feeling. Okay, but it's just the most basic form. The most advanced form of faith is seeing. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about if the spiritual senses is the same as the physical senses, that means we have 5 spiritual senses, and the different senses, the difference between them is their ability to create more accuracy based upon which one that you're using. Okay, if I feel something, I might not still know what it is, but I can tell you the texture. If I hear something, I might not know where it came from, but I can still tell you certain things from hearing. If I smell something, I can tell you certain things about it, but it's still limited in its accuracy. If I taste, it's still limited in its accuracy. So all of these are different levels based upon accuracy. Okay, it is better to taste than to feel. It's better to smell than to taste, or maybe backwards, maybe taste. I don't know based upon those, but definitely better to hear than to taste or smell. It's better to see than it's better to do any of those things. If we're talking about based upon the level of accuracy, that's what we're talking about. Based upon the level of accuracy, it's we know which one is better. So people who say I feel God is not bad, but it's the lowest form of your spiritual senses. That means in your almost dry state, you might still be able to feel. Why? Because in your most sinful state, in your lowest state, if you have even an inch of God, even if you have even an inch of faith, you will still be able to feel. The highest form of faith is sight. Why? Because sight is the most accurate. I can do the same thing I do with tasting by looking at it. I know exactly what it is. It's a quicker thing. If I hear somebody go, bing, I would have to guess whether that was a bell. I would have to guess what type of bell it was. I would have to guess the texture of the bell. I would have to guess what's the purpose of the bell. But with sight, I can look at it and I won't say that's a bell. I'll say that's a triangle. And that's, I would say that's a doorbell. I would say based upon that, I can hear something, but with my eyes, I will be more accurate as far as what I'm able to say about the things. So our goal is to be faithful. What does faithful means? Faithful means our senses are fully activated all the way up to sight. Okay? So I say that because of this definition, kind of where it says a feeling of relief or encouragement. I like that definition, but I found one that it's extremely conducive to the culture that I'm trying to portray right now. And I hope all of you guys are somewhat in the spirit. Hopefully, you guys, this doesn't go over your head. But I really want you guys to catch this as our culture, as we create cultures on how to come in more agreement with each other. Okay? And the reason why I'm using definitions is because definitions are the number one way to create agreement. If we all understand what we're talking about, then we all can come into agreement easier. Okay? Cool. So, a definition that I seen is a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint. Comfort is a state of physical ease or freedom from pain or constraint. And the reason why I love this definition because it goes directly with what I want to talk about as far as our culture and as far as our mindset going in to June and the rest of the year. Okay? Speaking of June, all this month I'm going to be, which is May, all this month I'm going to be posting all the way up to June. Probably go through June because I have so many different testimonies that I was using for the cover of my I Am Convinced book. But I didn't finish writing the book yet. So these testimonies are kind of prolonged from being released. So I'm starting to release them piece by piece. I want you guys to go on there and comment on each and every one of those things, okay? We're standing in agreement. We're all on one accord. So when you see me post these testimonies, that's what it was. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay, when you're seeing me post these testimonies, don't just look at it, don't just like it, don't just share it. Comment on there and create the engagement that we need, or the engagement that we learn to create on the Band app. Let's create that and be disciplined now that these things are being open. Don't sit back now and be like, let me watch how everybody else responds. No, respond the same way. And I heard as I was looking at, as I was posting these things, God told me that us engaging with this is going to be as effective or as, let's just use the word effective, as effective as the first time we posted. The reason why we engage with posts, the reason why we celebrate posts is because what God makes happen for others, he can make happen for you. And it's a science, a spiritual science, that whatever we celebrate, we open ourselves up to. Whatever we honor, we open ourselves up to. Okay? So it's not just about going to people and, doing the religious touch them and different things like that or whatever. It's about letting your body respond through in this case, social media, letting your body respond to it, not allowing yourself to be blocked off, but letting your body to respond to it so you can connect them. So as you guys are reading these testimonies are going to start opening us up for double or maybe triple the testimonies, because not only are we overdue for testimony for this year, but we still have trees from last year that we can eat from that we're not eating from, okay? So let's pull from those trees, let's plug into those things, and let's get 18 to the next level, okay? Hopefully everybody understands what I'm talking about. So yeah, a physical state of ease and freedom from pain and constraint, okay? I love this word because faith is not something that's not physical, okay? I need you to understand faith operates in the supernatural. Supernatural does not mean spiritual. Supernatural means advanced physical. Does everybody understand that? There's a difference between spiritual and supernatural. Does the supernatural operate with the spiritual? Yes, 100%. But the difference is the supernatural, you can be spiritual and never manifest anything to the natural. You can be spiritual and never manifest anything to the natural. That's why I love this definition. It says a state of physical ease. It didn't just say a state of ease. Because some of you guys, I'm comfortable in God now. And you're thinking that means that it's something that's inner. It's an inner thing that's going on. No, faith is substance. The word substance means physical. It's something to stand on physical. This is why I said every single time you come into agreement, when 2 or 3 people and they're coming into perfect agreement, the physical realm will respond to it. Supernatural just mean a natural state that is hyper, or a natural state that's more advanced. So we don't want to be avoiding. Now, I'm not talking about flesh. I'm not talking about carnal and those different terms, which also have different meanings when we break it down into the Greek or the Hebrew. But what I'm talking about is the physical. What I'm talking about is the tangible, okay? Supernatural is not apart from the tangible. Supernatural is tangible, advanced. Okay? It's an advanced, tangible state. That's what supernatural is. The reason why Jesus was able to form into different forms and his skin was affected was because he was supernatural, not because he was spiritual. Or I would say not only because because when I say these things, I want you guys to understand when I'm saying these things, I'm dividing them so that you can get a more precise understanding. Because if you just think, all I gotta do is be physical, all I gotta do is be spiritual, then I'm good. No, there is no such thing as supernatural without an effect to the physical state. That's what supernatural means. All right? So, when I read this definition, a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint, comfort immediately brought me to the faith dimension. Why? Because faith is not something that we're dealing with as far as non-tangible. Remember, faith is the substance. Substance means physical. Physical means tangible. I should be able to touch faith. Your faith should be tangible. It should be something that people are able to touch. Okay? Am I making sense, or are we lost? Just let me know, because
No.
we're good? Where's everybody else at?
Can you repeat the part where you mentioned I should be able to touch faith? Like,
Yes, faith.
like you said.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for. So faith should be a tangible thing, not an intangible thing. It's not something that is in the midst. It's something that's touchable. Okay, it's something that's seen with the spiritual eye. It's something that should have evidence behind it. There's no such thing as faith without evidence, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence for things unseen. That means those who cannot see into the spirit should still be able to touch your faith. Oh, that's good. That's gonna take me a whole nother place that I'm not ready to go. But I'm trying to stay at this high level because this is A-Team, and I want to keep our brains at this high level so that we can produce what I need us to produce. So faith is the substance. Faith is physical. Comfort is a physical thing. Comfort is a physical thing. It's a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint. I looked up the word physical, and physical means relating to things perceived through the senses as opposed to the mind. Another definition says tangible or concrete. Tangible or concrete. If we're going to understand how to come into agreement in faith, hope, and love, and we're starting off with faith, we need to understand that whatever we're doing, don't tell me you have faith in A-Team and it's not tangible. Don't tell me you have faith in A-Team and it's not concrete. Don't tell me you have faith in A-Team and there's no physical manifestation of whatever you're doing in A-Team to say that you're in agreement as far as the faith level is concerned. We're dividing. I hope everybody's keeping up, because it's going to get real confusing. This is like a Rubik's Cube, okay? And I'm trying, and I'm moving everything together. So it's a physical state. So if we understand that comfort is a physical state, faith is a physical state, the supernatural is a physical state, we all understand all three of these things. The funny thing is, we find that the power gifts inside the gifts of the Spirit has to be physical things. It changes everything that we're talking about. What's the three power gifts? You have healing, you have miracle signs and wonders, and you have faith. This is why faith is the dominant gift. Why? Because faith is miracle signs and wonders and healing plus. And they're all physical evidences. Physical evidences. Your faith should be so strong that there's a physical effect that's happening in regards to it. Your bank account should be affected. Your household should be affected. Whatever the case may be, whether it's good or bad, they need to be a physical effect, not opposing. If it's only bad, something's off. It needs to be good and bad. I'll take any of them. But physical things need to be happening. When Dana had enough faith, speaking of Dana, where is she? She's probably doing her 66. She's going to watch the replay during the 66. When Dana had enough faith to fast for 10 days, guess what? Her mom did a physical response to it. Whether it's belief or disbelief, there was a physical response to it. I'm not saying that's a major thing, but that's a sign that faith is being activated. Everywhere she goes now, everyone says, wow, Dana, you're glowing. What are you doing? Are you eating something? Are you drinking it? Nope. I'm spending time in the presence of God. I'm fasting. I'm praying. I'm consecrating myself. There's a physical example, or there's a physical evidence of what she's doing.
Cut off.
Say that again?
I said cut off.
I cut off?
And the word physical. I think.
Oh, I said, did I hear what I said about Dana?
Yeah.
Okay, we all today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody walking around and seeing her, they're like, man, you're glowing. Man, I can see, you're shining. What are you doing? Everybody thought she did a new skincare product or whatever, this and that, whatever. Turns out she's just fasting. And now, why is that significant? It's significant because her faith is activated. How do you know her faith is activated? Do you need to be a Christian to know that her faith is activated? No. There's a physical sign that her faith is activated. It doesn't take faith to see faith. Carnal people can see faith, but it takes faith to manifest supernatural. Does that make sense? The carnal people,
Yeah.
the earthly people can see your bank account growing. They can see the blessings in your life. They can see the business growing exponentially. When Joseph went to Egypt, they saw that God was with him, but they didn't have faith. Joseph had faith. So because you can see somebody else thriving, that does not mean you have faith. That means that they have faith and you were able to see it with your physical eyes. Am I making sense? If people cannot see if people cannot see the evidence of your faith with their physical eyes, whether they're Christian or non-Christian, that's not faith. Because faith is physical. Faith is substance. Faith is comfort. Faith should be something that we all are aiming for to manifest in the natural. That's what faith is. I hope I'm really making sense to everybody. So we're looking at this, and now we're looking at healing. We understand healing is a component of comfort. We see that miracles is a component of comfort. We see that faith is a component of comfort. They all require physical evidence to be true. Faith is not fantasy. Faith is not fiction. Faith has evidence. You will be able to see the glory of God on somebody's life when they're operating in faith. I pray right now that everybody who's aiming for faith and aiming to grow in faith, they get comforted by the Holy Spirit. They operate in comfort, in that physical ease of pain, physical ease of what's the other word? Constraint. Free from pain, free from constraint. That's what faith is. Faith is evidence. Faith is proof. There's nobody who had faith in the Bible that just got their faith by just random happenstance. No. All of them were credited faith and they had evidence to prove it. Faith affects your current physical state. Faith affects your current physical state. Whether it's your bank account, whether it's your household, whether it's your physical body, whether it's your car, whether it's your whatever. We're not talking about an inner thing like joy. We're talking about physical evidence, because that is comfort. That is comfort. I love something that William McDowell said. William McDowell says, heaven, we see thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When heaven touches earth, we don't have a word for it, so we call it a miracle. And that completely blew my mind as I'm studying more into this, because it's like God is literally connecting all the dots. He's telling us literally, when we have faith, we have the ability to connect the spiritual to the physical. We have the ability to take what's in heaven and meet, that's the word that I'm looking for. We have the ability to take what's in heaven and meet earth. Why do I say the word meet? Because there cannot be any agreement without meetings. Heaven touches earth when earth comes into agreement with heaven. And there's a physical manifestation of whatever that is. There is no demon, there is no principality, there is no devil, there is no power, there is no host, there is no ruler that can stop earth from agreeing with heaven. Matter of fact, let me change that. Because like I said, I'm ranting, so I'm building my sermon as I'm going, so I gotta correct it for when I actually preach this, okay? So you guys are my guinea pigs, so bear with me as I'm correcting things. Why do I want to correct it? Because I think the more accurate statement is, there is no demon that can stop the manifestation of heaven on earth once they meet. This is why everything in its power is trying to make us disagree. This is why the very first door to every iniquity is disagreement. Remember I taught you guys on the 15 iniquities and how they operate? There's 15 iniquities divided by 3. Each category gets 5. But it's a guideline to how you're moving up the step in wickedness. The most wicked is orgies, which is lust of the flesh. Why? Because it becomes physical. Lust of the flesh is physical. The last realm, the last 5, has to do with physical. Why? Because everybody is after the physical. They're not after the spiritual. They're after the physical. This is a war for the physical. So the iniquities, it starts with discord. That's the first iniquity. We find it in, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that's Galatians 5 verse 18. It lists 15 iniquities that the Bible says rid yourself of. And when you break down those 15, you break them down into lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, pride of life. Pride of life is the first step, right? And in the 5, in those steps, the first step to pride of life is discord. You have discord, then you have jealousy, then you have dissension, then you have fits of rage, then you have hatred. Some of y'all are like, how do you memorize these things? I break them into categories so I can memorize them. Okay? Then we move into lust of the eye. What's lust of the eye? What's the first area of lust of the eye? Is selfish ambition. Selfish ambition turns into to envy. Envy turns into something else.
Witchcraft.
No, witchcraft is right after. There's one thing that's in the middle. I have to go find that. And then
Jealousy.
no, jealousy is in pride of life. It's faction. There it is. So
Faction.
yes, because you have to form a faction to form witchcraft.
Okay. From witchcraft. Yeah.
So discord for the pride of life is discord, jealousy, dissension, fits of rage,
Hatred.
and then hatred. Hatred is the top realm of lust of pride of life. The goal is to get you to operate in hatred. That's the goal of the pride of life. Once you operate in hatred, you start moving into selfish ambition, right? Now we're in selfish ambition. What's that? Lust of the eye. Lust of the eye, what's that? Selfish ambition, envy, faction, witchcraft, idol worship. That's the pride of life. What's the top one in that realm? Idol worship. What's the goal of that realm? The goal of that realm is to get you to worship an idol. Okay? Once we can get you to worship an idol, now we can get you to make it physical. How do we get you to make it physical? Now you get a physical idol.
Yeah, good.
Right? So the idol starts in your heart. Right? But it grows we're not satisfied with it being in our heart because we're naturally created to whatever is in our heart to manifest it or to exhort it out, right? So we have idol worship in our heart. Now we move on to the lust of the flesh because the goal is to get it to the physical. If I can get it to the physical, I win. Okay? Lust of the flesh is impurities. Impurities is anything that you have that keeps you in that state, right? That's a ring. That's it could be a necklace. It could be a statue. It could be a cross. It could be a relationship. It could be anything. It could be a car. It could be money. It could be anything physical that keeps you in that state. So some of you guys, you're like, man, I don't understand, why am I constantly in this state? It can be because of money. You're like, I have this job, but I need the money. I know this job is not good, but I need the money. What is keeping you at the job? The money, not the job. The money. The devil knows he don't have you until he has a physical thing holding you. Okay, so it's a physical thing, but it's outside of you, right? Then after impurity, then you have drunkenness. What's drunkenness? Drunkenness is, it starts to warp, or it starts to affect your judgment, right? It starts to affect your judgment. After that, then you fall into sexual immorality. Sexual immorality. Sexual does not mean, it's not limited to I went and I had sex with a girl. That's not what sex is. The word sex, it means blood covenant. I hope I'm not too advanced for you guys, but I need everybody to come
You're
into
doing good right now.
I just need everybody to come into
You're
agreement.
good.
Okay?
Oh,
So
shoot.
sexual immorality is when you start to bleed for the thing, when it starts to cause blood. This is why witchcraft is not fully in effect at the witchcraft state. It's only in your heart. Witchcraft starts in your heart. But witchcraft knows that I need to shed blood in order to get it to manifest here on earth. Everything that you need to do, it needs to shed blood to manifest here on earth, because blood is the what do you call it? The transmitter between spiritual and physical. So it needs to have blood. The devil wants to contaminate your blood. He's always wanted to contaminate your blood. Jonathan Ferguson did a great teaching, an amazing teaching on the effects of the blood. He went into Noah and the demons trying to affect the blood or whatever, and that's why Jesus had to come through a pure bloodline. If any demons bloodline was in it, it would affect the DNA of Jesus and all of that, and it would affect the sacrifice that Jesus made. It was just a purely phenomenal teaching. So sexual immorality operates when you have an impurity. It warps your judgment to the point where you are willing to spill blood. What sex is a blood covenant. When I have sex with a girl, right? When I have sex with a girl, what ends up happening is when I stick my penis inside, it breaks the vein inside and it creates blood from both parties, and that merges. That right there is what marriage is.
Yes. Okay.
So the reason why sexual immorality is bad, and the devil says stay away from sexual immorality, and why the sexual immorality is bad, because you're sinning against your own body. This is what the Bible says. You're sinning against your own body. Why is that important? What do we mean by you're sinning against your own body? You are marrying the impurity. You're marrying the impurity. What happens after that? Are we done? We married the impurity, everything is good? No. What ends up happening is the very next step, which is debauchery. What does debauchery mean? Debauchery means an excessive desire to meet physical pleasure. This is why it took you 15 years, it took you 16 years, it took you 18 years, some of y'all, it took you 21 years to lose your virginity. So it took 15 years for you to have sex one time and 2 days for you to have sex the second time. Why? Because now I'm pulling you into a state of debauchery. That means excessive indulging in flesh. I got to keep doing this thing. I got to keep doing this thing, right? So now that's debauchery. The final step is orgies. Orgy does not mean a bunch of people coming together to have sex, okay? Orgy just means many. The reference behind orgy commonly refers to the act of having sex with multiple people, okay? But that's not what we're talking about when the Bible says orgies, okay? We're talking about the root of orgies. What's the root of orgies? The enemy is not done with you until more people are involved. So it's not enough to make a covenant between two. I need more. More people are involved. Did y'all know that another form of sexual immorality is murder? When Jesus was saying those who commit adultery in their mind is just as guilty as those who actually did the physical act, and then guess what he relates that to? What's the very next one? Those who hate their brothers are just as guilty as those who murder their brother. Why? Because it's going to lead to a physical manifestation, thus ending in orgies. What does orgy means? Many. It's not enough for you to just kill one person. Once you kill one person, it's hard to kill the first person. After that, everything is easy. This is why it's dangerous to shed blood. I had people, they've been messing with me my whole entire life, and nothing happened to them until they shed blood. Until they shed blood. This is why Jesus had to say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. In another word, he's saying, y'all shedding the wrong blood. Any other time, this would have been something that would destroy the earth, and it almost did. Because faith and physical is the same thing. Faith and physical is the same thing. Not faith and carnal. That's not what we're talking about. Faith and physical. Same thing. Okay? So now that we understand that when heaven meets earth, the devil cannot stop it. That's why everything that he does is purely to do what? It's purely
make sure heaven don't meet earth.
To make sure heaven doesn't meet earth. That's all he's doing. Do you know how different the story of Adam and Eve would have been if Adam and Eve were together when the devil came and talked to them? All I had to do was get one. Once I got one, now that one can spread what they know to somebody else. Why? So that I can affect the way that their heaven meets earth. And and God says, I have to kick them out of the garden lest they eat the fruit of life. Why? Because God did not want you to be forever living without the ability for heaven to be earth again. That's why he kicked them out of the garden. If they ate, they could never die. And imagine living life where heaven cannot meet earth. That's called hell.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's called hell. So why are we talking about this? Because heaven is all comfort. Heaven is all comfort.
Yeah.
That's all heaven is. Jesus didn't say, today you'll be with me in the spiritual realm. No, or today you'll be with me in all perfect. No. What did he say? Today you will be with me in paradise. Heaven is all comfort. And our goal is to make comfort meet earth. That's what our goal is. Every day you wake up and you don't make comfort meet earth, you lack faith. Oof.
Wow.
Every day, if you wake up and there's not a miracle that happens, and I'm not just talking about the miracle of waking up. I'm not talking about, things like that. We're talking about real miracle. I'm talking about evidence. If you wake up one day, that just woke me up today. Now I have a new sense of purpose today. If you wake up one day and there's not a physical example of heaven meeting earth, you don't have faith that day. You don't have faith. There is no faith where heaven doesn't meet earth. This is why Jesus said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come. Come. C-O-M. Come. C-O-M-E. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When God comes, he brings comfort. What does comfort mean? Come means to bring, right? We want God to bring his presence, right? Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
We want God to bring his presence. That's why I separated come from con, right? We want God to bring his presence. We want God to come. The word fort means shelter. We want God to come with his shelter. Another word for fort is house. Ooh. We want God to come with his whole house. That's what comfort is. Come with your whole house. In his house, there's clothes. In his house, there's shelter. In his house, there's food. In his house, he says, I come. I go to prepare a place. In my Father's house, there are many rooms. If there wasn't, I would not have said so. God is saying, I want to bring my house to you. That's what comfort is. Comfort. I'm just playing around with these words already. So we're saying, okay, well, Pat, I know you're saying comfort, but you know, why is there such a negative connotation behind comfort? Okay, I want to get into that. I want to get into how you get faith. Does anybody want to learn how to get faith?
Yeah.
I love Olivia just talking to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for talking to me. I felt lonely for a little bit.
Yes.
You're not lonely.
Thank you, Anthony and Esmeralda, for responding on the chat as well. Thank
It
you.
takes time to get to the mic.
Okay, so you guys want to know, and thank you, Luis, also. You guys want to know, is Kiara still here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you guys want to know, is this good? Like, is this worth waking up at 3 a.m.?
This is well done.
Okay, I want to teach you stuff because I want you guys to stop thinking that these things are so far advanced. It's not that it's far advanced. It's that it just needs to be revealed. Okay? So I want to teach you guys how to get faith. Okay? So to get faith, we're saying all these things about faith. To get faith, I love this because this ties in completely with what I learned, thanks to Emily, what I learned the sermon was about, because I wasn't listening to the sermon, right? But I have these in my notes, right? So you know what's going on here? We have agreement going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and I hope this doesn't outclass what Evanel preached. Right? Is Evanel here?
I'm right here.
All right. So you're going to love this because this kind of coincides with what you were preaching yesterday, right? To get faith, you must climb the mountain.
Yeah.
To get faith, you must climb the mountain, right? That's why the Bible tells you, consider it joy when you go through trials of many kinds because it builds faith. Right? Everybody's keeping up with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I need y'all to keep up with this because if y'all don't keep up with this, y'all not going to get the next part, right? So we understand to get faith, I got to climb this mountain. Whatever's in front of you, I gotta climb this mountain. You masturbating, I gotta beat that mountain. You're dealing with homosexuality, I gotta defeat that mountain. You're dealing with fornication, I gotta defeat that mountain. You're dealing with any type of sin or any type of iniquity, I gotta defeat that mountain. Why? Because to get faith, I have to climb my mountain. I have to carry my cross. I have to climb my mountain. But the most amazing part, now watch this. Watch this. Once you climb the mountain, you can move mountains. Why? Because to get faith, you need to climb the mountain. But to move mountain, you need to have faith. Our problem is we're trying to move mountains that we're supposed to climb. And we're trying to figure out, God, I don't understand. You said if I had faith like a mustard seed, you said I could throw this mountain into the sea and it will be cast down. Can I tell you that if you climb the mountain, you have conquered the mountain. Once you climb the mountain, you get faith. Once you get faith, you can move the mountain. What am I saying? Once I beat homosexuality, now I can go to a homosexual and lay hands on him, and guess what? He don't have to climb the mountain because my faith can move his mountain. If you're dealing with poverty, guess what? You might have to go through it. You might have to climb that mountain. You might have to save every dollar that you got. But guess what? You can go to a homeless person after you've conquered this mountain. You can go to a homeless person and just lay hands on them, and that mountain will move. You say, be ye moved, mountain. Cast yourself into the sea, and that mountain will move. You're trying to figure out why you're praying for people, and that mountain seems like it's stubborn. Can I tell you? It's because you have not climbed the mountain to gain the faith to move the mountain. I wish people were around me because I'm getting hyped up. This is literally waking me up. You cannot move a mountain that you have not climbed yet. You cannot move a mountain that you have not climbed yet. What's the problem with people who try to move mountains that they haven't climbed yet? I found what the problem with today's interpretation of comfort is. Today's interpretation of comfort teaches you that comfort is something that you can do by avoiding discomfort. No, comfort can only be achieved by facing discomfort. The issue with comfort is not about comfort itself, but it's about how you got to comfort. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about the comfort. I'm concerned about how you got to the comfort. Because comfort can only be achieved by facing discomfort, not avoiding discomfort. Oh, I don't like this, or I don't like that. So you know what? I'm going to find ways around it. Can I tell you the reason why you're still struggling as far as the things that you are struggling with, that you cry about at night, that you wish that you could go back home where it's comfortable? That's not comfort. Because comfort is when heaven meets earth. But when you climb that mountain, you're going to gain the faith. And the next person that comes after you who's dealing with the same issue that you're dealing with, you can say, be ye moved. And that mountain would throw itself into the sea. Comfort is not comfort if you got it by avoiding discomfort. It's not. Comfort can only be achieved by facing comfort. Comfort is the physical state of freedom from pain and constraint. A-Team can't bring comfort because we don't agree on facing discomfort. This is why after today, you're going to see a physical manifestation of this 3 a.m. prayer. Why? Because A-Team came into agreement to be discomforted. And how you feel after this, that's what comfort is. When the physical effects come, when the bank accounts start ringing, when the new car starts coming in, when people start dropping drop-ins all left and right, when testimonies start falling left and right, and you start seeing the physical manifestation of everything that we're doing just because we woke up at 3 a.m. Why? Because we chose to go and face discomfort. It's not comfortable. I still haven't slept yet. But guess what? I could not miss. I said I could not miss this message. I could not miss waking up at 3 a.m. I was uncomfortable. I was restless. And guess what time I got sleepy? I got sleepy at 2:30. I said, you know what? I'm going to shake myself up. I'm going to start writing this survey. I'm going to start encouraging myself. Why? Because there's no such thing as comfort that avoids discomfort. There's no such thing. 18 cannot bring comfort because we don't agree on facing discomfort. We try our best to find ways to avoid discomfort. This is why I said when you read Matthew today, we're going to read from Matthew. There's 28 chapters in Matthew. 28 divided by 2 is going to give you 17, 16, 14. Okay, that's going to give you 14. We're going to read 14 chapters today. And this is why I said we're not going to listen to it this time. We're going to read it. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. We find ways to avoid. How many churches? Let's try to make church more comfortable. No, you're not making church more comfortable. I don't want to reveal. Well, I'm going to just say it. You're not making church more comfortable. You're making people more content. That's a calm versus con. Let's make them comfortable. No, you're not making them comfortable, because comfortable means let's create discomfort so that they can face. To make them comfortable means let's face discomfort together. That means let's get in the pit with them. You're making them content. What does content mean? Content means I don't need the physical effect. Ooh. Content means I don't need the physical effect. If I'm paralyzed and I'm in a wheelchair, I can be content. But I'll be uncomfortable. Come on. I can be content, but I'll be uncomfortable. Why? Because comfort means physical manifestation. Content means without it. The word con means with. That's what it means. I'll live with it. That's what it means. Comfort means something has to come and bring me physical ease. Content means I'll live with whatever I have. Some of you guys, your financial situations, you're not comfortable, you're content. I'll live with what I have. Whatever I got, that's what I got. No, I want to be comforted. I want to be comfortable. I need comfort. I need thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now I'm going into tomorrow's message, so I don't know how this is going to affect tomorrow's message. But when we face discomfort, we reach comfort. When we avoid discomfort, you reach content. Ooh. That's beautiful. I'm seeing healings taking place. I'm seeing manifestation taking place. I'm seeing droplets like never seen before. I'm telling you, the month of I'm saying the month of May, the month of June, the month of July is going to be crazy when we come into agreement, when we put a demand on comfort. When we put a demand on comfort, you're going to see supernatural things are going to unlock, things are going to break, because the devil's going to do everything in his power to try to break the connection between 18. Why? Because without connection, heaven can't meet. But once the connection is made, once we're operating with the same faith, that means all of us willing to go through discomfort, what happens? We are now able to live comfortable. Oh, which chat? What chat are we talking about? You talking about this chat, or I have two chats? I got two chats. Bro, you're not making church feel comfortable. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let's pray for 15 minutes. Then we're gonna do some questions, and then we're gonna do our Bible reading. Is that cool? And then we're gonna come back and do 50% prayer. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's do 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's do 15 minutes at 10%. Just meditating on what I taught, meditating on different things like that. As you're praying, if you want, you can jot things down, different things that I said, take notes or whatever. And those of you guys who are on the Band app, try to join the live, because I'm going to end the Band app now so I can post it. Okay? So try to join the live, but right now for the next 15 minutes as we're transitioning, just pray in tongues, okay?
Okay.